That wasn't supposed to happen like that, but thank you so much for clicking on this video. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I haven't been on here in a while, but I'm back. I had the pleasure of bringing in the new year with my boyfriend, and let me show y'all one of the things I got for Christmas. Oh my god, wait, I can't even see it. It's a bag bag, but it's a dupe, but that don't need to be mentioned. But yeah, it's a bag bag, but it's a dupe, and I've been wanting that for a long time, but I wasn't trying to pay all that money, and I wouldn't want anyone else to. So I found a dupe on Shein, and it looks exactly like it. The only difference is it don't have the little logo at the bottom. But a topic I've been wanting to discuss for a while is therapy. I always see like these BetterHelp promos and like celebrities vids. Mental health has like been like a big topic lately in like the media and stuff, but whenever I see these promotional vids or like vids where people are saying why you should go to therapy and things like that, it's always cliche. It's always you need to take care of your mental health, and it's always just like it's good to talk to somebody, but they never like go into detail as to like the benefits of it all. Just always sound like blah 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 blah, and then it makes it worse like if it's like a promo video, because it's like you just saying stuff literally for the promotion. And again, the like advice is never like captivating. It's always just,
yeah, you need to vote because you need to take care of your mental health and never be ashamed to go to therapy.
It's like, what are you really trying to say? But I'm gonna share with y'all my journey with that, and hopefully it will convince y'all to give it a try, or it'll just shed some light and you can decide if it's for you or not. But of course y'all aren't going to be able to hear me if I'm blow drying my hair. That's what I'm about to do. So this is going to be just like a chit chat video, a little venting video while I straighten my hair. So I'm going to come back after I blow dry it. So my hair is all blow dry. I really don't feel like using my mirror, my three-way mirror that I usually use to see the back of my head. So I'm going to just like freestyle. It can't be that hard. I'm going to just like feel around. But I got my hot comb going and my straighteners. So yeah, we about to get to it. I hate paying for my hair. It's too expensive. That's why I'm glad I know how to do hair. But yeah, I'm gonna just brush it out real quick and use a clip so I can like have it out the way. Oh, I think I clipped it too hard. So one of the main things that I learned from therapy, first of all, I want to say like, oh my god, I had such a unique experience with therapy because I got matched with this awesome therapist, and I liked her because she felt like, not a grandma, I don't want to like sound rude, but wait, I'm not even supposed to have this clipping because I'm supposed to be hot combing my edges first. But and she was black, so that's always a plus. And she was relatable not only because we were like the same race, it was just because, well, honestly, that is the reason. That really is the reason, because it's like we just, yeah, understood each other without even having to know each other for real. So I feel like an important step in finding a therapist is making sure that you can either find one that is your race, and don't get me wrong, they're all skilled, but certain like cultures go through similar things, so that always helps because y'all can relate on a deeper level, not just like a psychological type of, you know, level, because you know therapists are trained to know about the mind and stuff, but it's more personal, like when they can relate to you culturally. So yeah, I was happy about that. But a thing that I learned Perfection truly is a disease. And I know I said in the beginning I wasn't trying to sound cliche, but that's why I'm gonna elaborate on what I mean by that. So I'm sure y'all heard that saying before, like Beyonce even has a song, but it's not meant to be taken literal, because perfection isn't a literal disease, it's a metaphor. With that being said, my struggle with perfectionism was the fact that I would let any little mishap be so crippling to me. Like, it would be to the point, like, I couldn't find a matching pair of socks. I would psych myself out to think that I was going to have the worst day ever if the outfit didn't go as planned. I would back out of like any outing that I was invited to. Yeah, like little things like that is why I say like perfection is a disease. It makes you feel like you're like losing control of your life, and then the reality of it all is nothing is perfect. Like perfection like really doesn't even exist. So like you psych yourself out to think like I have to wait until this is perfect in order to do this. You're gonna be waiting forever, because it's really no such thing, and that just teaches you to not be able to resolve conflict, and you're gonna have a really hard time at life. And then it's delusional, because like I said, something like clothes doesn't determine like what type of day you're gonna have. And once I started like being more carefree, my life got a lot happier, because it's like certain things you really can't control, and it's like, why miss out on fun because you're self-conscious about something? But that plays into like, you know, self-esteem and things like that. And yes, clothes can play on your self-esteem, but to allow that to make you feel like you lost control is like a whole different thing. So another reason I say it's a disease is because it will cause you to miss out. You lose your life because of that. You only get one life, and if you don't have no memories, because waiting for everything to be perfect in order to go about doing stuff, it's like you're going to be stagnant, because like I said, nothing is perfect. So the perfect time will really never come. Just feeding yourself BS at that point. But another scenario where perfectionism really played with my mental is when I got the chance to go to prom, and everybody knows that that's something like you long for ever since like you high school or whatever. That's the time you get to like look your absolute best, but not everybody gets that luxury because prom dresses are expensive. But I was spiraling basically. So in my head during prom season, I'm like custom dress or I'm not going. And essentially like that was selfish, because it's like when you have family, friends that want to see your milestones and stuff, it's like at that point it can't only be about yourself. And also there was a solution to that problem. Like I could have easily just got an alternative dress, but like I said, perfectionism is like hard to deal with, because I was so caught up in thinking, okay, if I don't have this specific custom blinged out dress or whatever, that I'm gonna have the worst prom ever. But that's not the case. I could have still, which I did, just have gotten a cute dress, still felt confident, and still went. I did end up going, and I'm glad I did, because I wound up having a good time, and it allowed me to debunk all these things that were in my head, like the whole I have to be wearing specifically this to have a good time. Then after that, I realized like a lot of times what's going on in my head is a lie. So after that situation, I put practice into debunking a lot of stuff that my mind decides it wants to tell me, and I just started living my life carefree. And that really has helped. A lot of times we're so worried about what other people are thinking that we're not realizing we're losing out on the only life that we have. I believe in quality of life. So once you sit back, take a look at your mental health and realize, okay, this causing me more hurt than harm, that will motivate you to take control of your life That's another thing I'm gonna get into. That mental health affects your mind to the point that you think you don't have control. So we're talking about like loss of control. So another reason I've gotten into therapy is because of how bad my anxiety was. And oftentimes people have like this perception in their head that they just have to accept anxiety for what it is, and it's not going to get better. But anxiety is not only a mental illness, it's a feeling, and a lot of people forget that. Anxiety, depression, they're mental illnesses, but they're also feelings, meaning they can be tampered with. So you get a feeling of anxiety, you're able to do things to help with that. It's like you're not stuck. And I know when some people experience anxiety, it's different. Like for me, I shake, my voice cracks, but in some scenarios you're able to cope with it, and everything gets better with great practice. So if you keep coming across situations that make you anxious and you keep doing the same thing, like backing out, your anxiety ooh, this the smoke from the later. Your anxiety is essentially controlling you. It's like I said, once you don't look at it as a disease, you look at it more so as a feeling, you control it. But I feel like looking at it as a disease makes it more intimidating, makes it feel more permanent. But it's like, no. You can do things to help with that feeling of anxiousness. Like I said before, it starts with debunking thoughts that are in your mind, right? A lot of times we get anxious, say for instance, about our looks. You have anxiety, social anxiety, but that stems from like being insecure. So like when you're around people, you're self-conscious, you're anxious, you don't like meeting new people because you're not confident in yourself. Over time, if you do the groundwork and you do exercises, it will help you get comfortable with meeting new people. And once you're able to debunk certain things like, oh, I don't want to meet someone new because I'm scared that they might point out an insecurity that I have, or I'm scared that, you know, they're making fun of me, or, you know, things like that. The only way to figure out if that's true or not is to put yourself in the field. I'd say pretend like you don't even have insecurities, right? Pretend you don't even have them, and just act as if you're the person that you want to be. Like when you're meeting somebody new, just like exhibit like pure confidence and see how it goes. Because as much as you hate the feeling of being anxious, you will want to not feel anxious, right? So do things that'll debunk these anxiety causing feelings in your brain. Test the theory of, oh, are people looking at me this way? Because it's better to know so that you know how to go about it, right? So once you try it out and say the best outcome happens, people love you for who you are, they're not worried about your weight or whatever you're insecure about. Say they're not worried about that. And then now this whole time where you just backed out of meeting new people, you missed out on so many good friendships, is not a thing anymore. Like you get to gain control of your life, and you realize literally how much you missed out on, and you realize how the mind is able to lie to you, right? Well, not even lie, it's just like how foolish you were to believe these negative stories that your mind is coming up with, instead of like believing a more positive story, or trying to come up with a more positive story in your mind, right? And another thing I do to help with anxiety is I pre-plan out scenarios. So say if I'm getting a new job or whatever, and I know I'm eventually going to have to converse with my coworkers, I don't want to come off awkward or make it known that like I have anxiety or something. I'm sorry, that is like in my throat. I pre-plan out scenarios. You can literally practice talking at home to not come off awkward. Or if you do have someone, at least one person that you can practice it with, I would say do it, because it does help. Even though it's different when you're in front of a person and you're talking, it'll still like kind of break the ice if you already practiced it, because now you have a plan. Now you already know what you're going to say before you say it. So only nervousness you got to deal with is like trying to like predict the person's response. Everything gets better with practice. A lot of people are scared to try. They're scared to like be new at something, and like I said, they want to be perfect at it. But knowing that eventually you're going to become perfect at it, that should be enough reason for you to try. Because it's like, look at what you're left with. Would you rather have to keep dealing with anxiety and dealing with anxiety, or would you rather have to put yourself in a position to be anxious just maybe 1 or 2 more times, and then you get it? Now you comfortable with making friends, comfortable with talking to people, and it's like you're gonna get anxious again regardless if you don't try to fix it. You're gonna keep getting anxious if you don't find a solution. So it's like, okay, just put yourself in an anxious position just a couple more times, and that'll eliminate the anxiety controlling you for a lifetime. So yeah, that's how I view it. I got some notes down here because straightening my hair kind of gets me a teeny bit sidetracked. So I have notes based on like what I want to touch on. So another big thing with anxiety is self-blame, right? So you get anxious, causes you to not be yourself. You want to try this hobby, but you scared of what everybody's gonna think and stuff like that. Like you are essentially like living your life for other people, and you're never going to be happy because you're letting other people be in control of your life. And you want to, everybody's going to die one day. You want to die happy. And this, yeah, it's just, once you really sit back and think about it, and I hope I'm making sense, it's so foolish to believe that you can't be yourself because somebody else has an opinion. And I hate to sound cliche again, it's just like, why do you care? Like, I feel like instead of thinking about what people are going to say, think about how much fun you're going to have doing what you want to do. Because only you know what interests you, only you know what really makes you happy. And it's like, let the adrenaline from living a happy life allow you to never be anxious again, never be self-conscious again. Because the more you do what you want to do, the happier you'll be in life. And imagine constantly being happy all the time, because you just get up and do what makes you happy. Like I said, take control of your life. Once you psych yourself out into just letting the anxiety win and not taking your control and self-blaming, that's when you become stagnant. Because like I said, there's always a solution. You just have to be physically willing to try. So when you feel anxious, don't just, give up and isolate yourself. Literally think of a solution. Like, literally, that's all you gotta do. And I don't mean to sound insensitive, but literally. As long as you're physically able, there should always be a will and a way. Otherwise, it's an excuse. It's an excuse. It's literally an excuse. Another big thing is accountability, and that plays into finding a solution. Like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. So, if you're given a solution and you're too scared to try, it's like you don't want it bad enough. Think about the outcome. Don't think really about the journey. If this is a shot at helping with your mental health, but it involves you being uncomfortable for a short amount of time, but it's granting you mental freedom, it's like, are you just benefiting off the fact that people feeling bad for you? Like, are you just using your sorrow for like selfish gain? You got to think of all these reasons when you choose not to go after a solution to any problem in your life. Not even just like mental stuff, like physical problems that could include like financial, hardships, or like habits that you're trying to break. Goes into a lot. Trying at least is a shot at fixing something, while complaining is just insanity, because that doesn't change anything at all. That don't even give you a chance at changing anything. So never get to the point where things happen and you just gave up, to the point where you blame anxiety or you blame depression. It's like, there's ways around that. Never settle with the fact that like, oh, this is my life. 'Cause I used to think the same thing, and I know certain people have it worse than others. And if there's physically like if there's literally, I didn't mean to say physically, there's literally no way that you can fix whatever's going on in your life or regarding your mental health, then this video obviously doesn't apply to you. It applies to the ones that feel stagnant. I'm letting you know that's not always the case. Yeah, I'm gonna continue straightening my hair. Oh, and I have another story for y'all. For the longest, I've been insecure about my teeth. I would literally never ever smile. I would talk like with my top lid covering my top row teeth. And fun fact about me, I just started smiling like, I want to say probably like 9th or 10th grade. I used to always laugh covering my mouth. I would always smile with my mouth closed, but it's like now I don't care. I feel like age helps with that too, because it's like once you are grown, nobody cares about your teeth. Nobody's gonna bully you for your insecurities, and if they do, that says a lot about them. Not saying it won't hurt your feelings, but it's more embarrassing. Like, you really gotta think deeply about what I'm about to say. But somebody goes out their way to talk about you, to embarrass you. Honestly, it looks bad on them, not you. And I know it's like, but this is something I'm self-conscious about. So even if they talk about me, make fun of me, it's still gonna hurt. But it's like that person is still giving you attention at the end of the day, and it's not the good kind. Anybody that's confident in their self is not worried about the next person. So if somebody talks about you and you're insecure about that, just know they're in the same boat with you, but much worse. I'm sorry, like, this is just coming out so good. Yeah, they're in the same boat with you, but much worse. Because they're projecting their insecurities onto other people. Once you get to the point, you let yourself get cocky to the point you're talking down the next person to feel good about yourself. You're not as confident as you thought you was. Yeah, I've had a long fight with my mental health journey to the point where I could tell I'm getting on people's nerves, and that's one of the biggest reasons why people choose to like commit. And you know, I can't say that word on YouTube, because they feel like a burden, and it is incredibly draining when a person is just going in this cycle of just, you know, like every time you talk to them, it's like they're depressed. It weighs on you, especially when you love someone, and especially if you have people that are talking to you and trying to help you, but you're just choosing sorrow every time. If people are giving you solutions and you're just choosing to be sad, or just painting this negative picture over everything, at that point it's like, do you like being this way? So you do have to be more grateful and realize at some point you may be burdening someone, but it's not as bad as you think. That's not more of a reason to go through and, you know, put yourself through more sorrow. It should be an eye-opener. Like, okay, these people are upset because they want to see me happy. They hate that I'm sad, and it hurts them so much that it's draining to be around you, right? Because nobody wants to see someone that they love that way. So that should, if anything, that should be used as motivation to get out of this funk. But a lot of people take it personal. Like, I'm only good enough if I'm happy, which some people are users. That's not okay. Because say for instance you're a naturally generous person, but once you get into like a sad stage in your life, of course you're not going to want to be in the mood to, you know, you're not yourself at that point. So that generosity may go away, and then you see people only like want to deal with you when you're being generous, but aren't there for you when you like going through things. That's not okay at all. But like I said, there's always a solution. You don't ever have to be sad forever, anxious forever, any of that. There's always a solution. And like I said, practice and think about the outcome. If I do this consistently for XYZ amount of time, my anxiety is going to be better than ever. I'm going to be able to control it. I'm going to be able to be anxious less. I'm going to take control of my life. That's what we all want, right? So, take that first step, and you can do it. You can literally do it. Practice. It'll get better over time. It's better than it not getting better ever. I hope all of the things that I explained to y'all helped y'all. Thanks again for clicking on this video. Hope everyone had a nice New Year's, Christmas.